Welcome back to First and 5. Can you believe that we are about to go into week 15 of this NFL season? Where has the time gone? Right, guys, is it time that we had a serious conversation about the Philadelphia Eagles? Because going into this season, everyone thought the Philadelphia Eagles would be NFC favorites. They were defending champions, they had one of the best rosters in the league, and Jalen Hurts was playing the best football of his life. You wouldn't have been crazy to say that the Eagles were favorites to reach the Super Bowl again this year. But now going into week 15, Philadelphia don't look anywhere near the team that they had last year. They still sit 8-5, and they are 2 games ahead of Dallas in the NFC East, but the on-field product looks like a different story. And their latest loss versus the LA Chargers summed up everything that's gone wrong. It was a 22-19 overtime disaster filled with penalties, missed chances, and turnovers. And Jalen Hurts, he had the worst game of his career. 5 turnovers, 4 interceptions, a fumble, and plenty of missed reads on offense. And although last year the signing of Saquon Barkley looked like a steal, without Lane Johnson on that offensive line, the run game just looks non-existent. Jalen Hurts' legs have also essentially disappeared, and now they're just trying to force the ball to AJ Brown. An offense that once looked creative and unstoppable now looks predictable and uncomfortable. The Eagles do have a very friendly closing stretch. They've got the Raiders up next and then 2 games versus the Commanders either side of a trip to Buffalo. On paper, they should get to 10 wins, they should win their division, and they should be hosting a playoff game. But based on what we're watching in Philly every week, are this team actually playoff ready? Right now, it feels like the Eagles are very stoppable, but the one team stopping them the most is the Eagles themselves. Right, let's not sugarcoat it. The Indianapolis Colts are falling apart. What's that old saying? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. I don't think that really applies here, but I just like that saying. Okay. But it's safe to say that this Colt is very wounded. Let's take a look at the injury list, shall we? Starting right tackle Braden Smith is likely out with a concussion and neck injury. Ooh. Starting corner Charvarius Ward is questionable under concussion protocol. Ew. But the worst injury of them all is absolutely brutal for Indy. After already suffering a fractured fibula, Colts quarterback Daniel Jones is now out for the season with a torn Achilles. Backup Anthony Richardson won't be activated from injury reserve, which just leaves quarterback Riley Leonard, who has got a knee problem himself. And so now who are the Colts signing? 44-year-old Philip Rivers.
Hold up. Wait a minute.
I'll say it again. 44-year-old Philip Rivers.
Something ain't right.
Who, by the way, hasn't taken an NFL snap since 2020. So the question is, if Geno Smith goes down, will we see the Raiders sign Tom Brady? Right, we've spoken about what's happening at the top of the NFL, but now let's talk about what's happening at the bottom of the NFL. Let's whip out another old saying. There are 3 certainties in life: death, taxes, and the Cleveland Browns being in the hunt for the #1 overall pick. Now, if the NFL season were to end today, the top 5 picks would go as follows. First would be the New York Giants, second would be the Las Vegas Raiders, third would be the Tennessee Titans, fourth would be the Cleveland Browns, and fifth would be the New Orleans Saints. And do you want to know the worst part? All 5 of these teams had a top 10 pick last year. And although coaches and players will tell you that tanking doesn't exist in the NFL, there's probably a few GMs that are hoping they can get the #1 overall pick over the #5 overall pick. Because let's be honest, the difference between 1 and 5 could be a franchise QB or a franchise offensive lineman. And yes, the latter is still beneficial to the team, but fans don't buy tickets for linemen, they buy tickets for quarterbacks. So with a plethora of exciting talents in next year's NFL draft, be sure to watch out for the #1 overall pick battle this weekend. Can we talk about the Buffalo Bills? Because finally, Josh Allen has got his chance. Because although the AFC is topped by the Broncos, Steelers, Patriots, and Jags, the 6th seed Bills really have the only quarterback that you would trust in a hot situation. And to be honest, I think we should be putting more pressure on Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills to make the Super Bowl this year. When you look at the favorites, they're not even in the top 3. What are we doing here? This is a quarterback that won last year's MVP and has the NFL's 2nd leading rusher in his backfield. The Bills are also top 10 in the league when it comes to yards allowed per game with 307.1. That's better than the Jags, Rams, and Lions. And then you look at who Josh Allen would have to beat to get to the promised land this season. Because if the season ended today, the Jags would host the Bills, who I think we all would favor in that game. And the AFC Championship, they could face anyone, but outside of the names that we've already named, there is only the Chargers and the Texans. If we're being really honest, you would expect the league's reigning MVP to come out of either of those matchups with the W. Is it fair to say that if this year there is no Lamar or Mahomes in the playoffs, it should be boom or bust for Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills? And now the fifth thing that we have to talk about going into week 15 is Shedeur Sanders. I have tried my hardest not to talk about 12 for the last few weeks, but after his display versus the Titans, he's left me no choice. The rookie QB out of Colorado threw for 364 yards, 3 TDs, 1 more on the ground, and a passer rating of almost 100. Although the Browns did lose to the lowly Tennessee Titans, Shedeur Sanders wasn't even on the field for the game-tying 2-point conversion. But even with one of the worst offenses in the league, Shedeur is still finding a way to keep the Cleveland Browns in games. But the tape never lied, with the son of NFL legend Deion Sanders now the hottest topic in the NFL. But the only question now is, can perfect timing have a strong end to the season and make that Browns front office question if they really need to draft a quarterback in next year's draft? But those are 5 more things that you need to watch out for this weekend. What are your thoughts though? Comment down below and let me know. And as always, if you have enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe to the NFL UK and Ireland YouTube channel. I've been American TJ. Peace.